Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And I thought I would look at that darn little. I can't keep this. Why won't that? Hmm, got a gap there. Oh well. I thought I would just kind of do a quick check on the shortwave reception conditions. I originally this morning was going to do it down in my workshop, but believe it or not, I live in Florida, in the middle of Florida, and it's 46 degrees. And that's about the temperature of my workshop. So I said, nope, I'm not going to go down there. And let's see, what time is it? 4:53 a.m. And it's not going to warm up much today. But anyway, so much for the weather report. So I'm in my office. I'm using my RSP Duo SDR. That's probably my best SDR, but it's not connected to my best antenna. Up here, the only HF antenna I had coming in now is my G5RB, which is over 30 years old, at least. And I have done very little maintenance. I haven't checked the coax. So I'm sure it's not at its peak performance. So this is not the best setup. My best setup is downstairs in my workshop with my mega loop antenna. That's my best setup. And it's by far better than this antenna. Okay, so much for the status on where we're at. So I was thinking that I could get WWB on 5 megahertz pretty good. It's kind of in and out there. You can see the signal kind of jumping up and down there. The solar flux index is good. Let me just go over to that real quick before I blow you to death. So here it is. This is the updated. It's a 156. That's great. We want it above 100. It's 156. And which has not been good is the A and the K index are down considerably. We, for weeks, we had a good solar flux index, but the A index and the K index was astronomical, which means typically you would get a lot of noise in your signals. But they are down now. So we should be doing much better. And if we go back here, you can see the noise level is about a minus 90. Now, what I was having to set, you can see my squelch level right here, the yellow line. What I was having to set that at before was about a minus 70, which means if you look at the signals at minus 70, there's only a couple of them that are up that high. But now it's gone down considerably. And if I was on my mega loop antenna, the noise level would be down even more. So even some of these smaller signals I could pick up. So we're going to do just a quick scan. This is a scan from 5 megahertz to 30 megahertz approximately. Now, one thing that I've learned about this SDR Uno software, because I can't remember the settings for, say, shortwave reception AM in this band, what I do is I come up here and I use this gizmo right here to select a band. So I'll select 33. Okay, let's clear first. I'll select 33, 31. We'll stop. That's what we're going to do. There we go. 31. Okay, so now it's only going to show you the 31 meter band, which is not what I want right now. But it did set up all the parameters to give you the best reception, the filters and the bandwidth and stuff like that. So now I can clear that. It will leave those settings, but now I can now use my database here and do a scan by this memory bank. which is this one right here. So we can start that right now. Okay, I still got the thing framed. You want to, when you use one of these presets, it not only sets the filters and then everything, it sets the, oh, there's a preacher man. It sets the frame, in other words, the frequency range. And when you do a clear, apparently it doesn't clear that. You got to clear it manually. How did that unmute? That guy. Look at him. He's unmuting himself. Oh, it's scanning. That's why. Still scanning. Okay, so I'm going to scan here. And I may have to move the squelch up a little bit, but it's stopping on very weak signals. Now, right here, it shows you what's in the database for the given frequency. And that's what it's scanning, is all these inputs, which there are hundreds. Okay, there's Radio Habana on 5.04. I don't know why I'm not getting that. You're right here, and there's no signals there. Well, I got my scanner. I'm going to turn that down. Very, very disorganized lately. Yeah, see, I'm right there. The noise level is right there. I'm going to move that, see if I can do that while it's running. Move this squelch up just a tad. Why is it still getting up there? Oh, 80, minus 80. There we go. There, I had to go to minus 72. Yeah, like I say, this antenna, this G5RV, is not very good for rejection at all, as you can see. That's data. Uh-oh. Time to do something. Stand by. Yep, time to take my morning medicine, which I've already done. There, that's pretty good signal. Let's see if I can stop it real quick. This is, it says from the database, it's Radio Eura. That's pretty strong. That doesn't sound, that sounds like something close by, meaning within 1,000 miles. I'm not familiar with Radio Eura, but sounds like something religious. Let's move on. Pretty wide signal. Let me narrow this down. That's the one thing I love about using an SDR. You can visually see what's going on. Now, unfortunately for me, this program, SDR Uno, has so many options that unless I use it a lot, I tend to forget what the options are and how to peek it up and every stuff like that. I haven't read the manual for this latest version. Now, what I'd like to do, and I've forgotten how. I had a gentleman, again, I've forgotten his name, that was helping me create these memory banks over here. I have a lot of them.
Can be terminated, other you scan advised.
Now, why is that scanner so loud? I turned it down. maybe it's, let me turn the overall audio down on my scanner. Sorry about that. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah. Anyway, I had a gentleman that was helping me with these databases. Well, he wasn't helping me. He was actually doing them for me. So that's where a lot of my databases come from, or what they call it in this program is memory banks. And what I was doing is he would take the, I think it's the EIBI data bank, and which is a huge database of shortwave frequencies. I mean, it's huge. And he would go through and filter out, number one, the duplicate frequencies. Because when you do a scan in STR Uno, if you have, say, 5 stations that are using the same frequency, it will, because every one of them is in that baseline database, it will stop on every one. So it would take centuries for it to scan all the frequencies. So what he had done for me is he went through and any duplicates, he would delete anything past the first one. So like for instance, if there was Radio Habana and a German station and Australian station, all using the same frequency, he would delete everything except the first. Now, you kind of lose. I'm going to stop this. Listen to the preacher man. He would, so he would take those duplicates out so that it would scan faster. You would lose the fact that a given frequency might have several stations using that frequency around the world, but that was okay. That was okay. Wasn't really concerned about that. I was concerned about having a database that I could scan, which is this memory panel right here, and I can show you how big it is. It's huge. This thing's mammoth. So he would do that for me. What was another thing? Oh, another thing that is in this database is frequencies for utility stations. In other words, stations that are broadcasting data. He would take those out. He filters out. He was very good at using Excel spreadsheet program to manipulate that database. I used to be 30 years ago, maybe more, when I was a system engineer at Honeywell. And then they made me a manager and I had to be brainwashed. And so all my technical skills were erased. So I was very good at using Excel for analyzing data. So I've completely lost out of my brain cells how to use Excel efficiently. Doing these algorithms where you're searching through a database and pulling things out automatically. So he was doing that for me. I have not gotten an update in, it could be a year. So if he's watching, I'm hoping he'll do a new update. And again, the update is to take the EIBI database, the latest one, that you get off the internet, and then do that filtering of the database so that I can use it. Oh, sorry, the cat just jumped in my lap. In this program to do these scans, because you can do a range scan here or a memory scan. I'm doing a memory scan. And here's all the databases I have. Some of them which are quite old. I'd have to go look in my file manager to see how old they are. Some of them came from, and gee, my memory is so bad. There's a gentleman that works for STR Play. His name's Mike. For a while there, he was generating these same databases, or same type of databases. And you see these special ones that he made, like Airink, that's one he made. Aviation, that's one he made. Broadcast, CB, Clear Channel, FRS, and GMS. He was making those and making them available. There's a whole bunch more he made. So they were databases of specific types of stations. And I used those for a while. Those are quite old. I would say at least 2 years old. I don't know if Mike has updated these. Maybe if Mike watches my show, he will let me know through a comment. Yes, he has new ones and where to get them. I probably can find them eventually. It will take me a while to figure out where he normally posts these. Look at them all. He's got tons of them. Probably got 20, 25 databases. What else? I do have the latest version of SDR Uno, which is 1.42.1014. They still have not, that I know of, again, I haven't read the latest manual, they still have not completely incorporated my request for the scan option. They have added some things which I read about when this version first came out. And the thing I was looking for was when you do a scan, that it would, upon an option, you would, we see here's the options up here, scanner configuration. You could where is it? Well, I guess I don't see it. So I guess they haven't added it. But anyway, you could, if you turned on save to memory panel, which means whatever memory panel you selected, it's going to write to that when it finds the station, which means it will overwrite whatever is in the database that you had originally. I hope I don't confuse you because I'm confused. Anyway, the request I made over a year ago was that they set it up so, number one, it would write to a different database, so it wouldn't overwrite the database. Well, it wouldn't hurt to overwrite the database because what I want, let me show you, again, I'm babbling, is, I wish this was, I guess you can make it wider. These are the things that's in the database. So it's got frequencies, whether you want to scan it or not, what the mode is, description of the station, sub-M, I have no idea what that means, filter, antenna port, hopefully I'm using the right one, threshold. Now, what I wanted, what I requested was, excuse me, an additional field that it could write to as it's scanning, that when it got a hit, I'll call it, on a particular frequency, it would put a count in a separate column, hit count, I'll call it, like in the column right here, so that you could go back later and look at the scans and see what stations or what frequencies it received a signal on, and therefore create a database. And then what you could do is, if you were versatile with Excel, you could go back and say, sort through that database, first make a new database out of that old, then sort through that database and only save in the database the ones that had a hit, or the one that had X number of hits, 2 hits, 3 hits, and then create that database. And then you would eventually have a database of signals that you had heard. Because what I want eventually is I don't want to scan all these frequencies because it takes forever. It's not forever, but it takes a long time. I'd like to have my favorites in a database. So that's what I'm really looking for. I hope I haven't confused you because I've confused myself. But anyway, that's what I like about SDR. And you can get an SDR as cheap as $25. It won't work as good, nowhere near as good as an RSP from SDR Play. Now they have, as most of you know, they have like different versions, different costs. I don't know what their, I call it the introduction to SDR costs now. It was at one time $99, and it was well worth it. That was originally that was the RSP1. They replaced that with a 1A, which works fabulous. I have a 1, a 1A, a Duo, a Deluxe. I don't know. I've got about all they make, and the prices vary. Now this Duo, that's quite expensive. Well, I shouldn't say expensive, but it's more expensive. I don't know the price again. It's been a while. Let's just, since I'm babbling here, let's go here and look. There's our manual, which I need to read. So let's go to, I don't remember their website. SDR. No, wrong keyboard. Dummy. Oh, I am so disorganized. Okay, so we want products. And see, there's the least expensive, the RSP 1A. Then we are, oh, this is the one. This is the best one, I think. The RSP DX. This is the Duo. That's the one I'm using right now, which has 2 receivers in it. And gee, he gets on their reviews. And, well, never mind. There's discontinued. This RSP1, RSP2, RSP2 Pro. Those are discontinued. And I'm going to look purchase. Here we go. Purchase. Okay, I want to purchase. Click here to purchase direct. Yeah, let's purchase direct from them. You can get it from different resellers. Okay, here's what I wanted to show you. RSP 1A now is $117 plus shipping. Matter of fact, right here it shows because it's shipped from Europe, it's $31 shipping or $13 by mail. So naturally, unless you're in a hurry, you use the $13 mail. The Duo, which I don't think is the best, but it does give you 2 receivers, is $300. The DX, which is the one I like the best, is $107. So, and you can get them, if I go back here real quick, you can get them in the United States, for instance. Oh, you get them all over. Let's see, United States. United Kingdom, United States. Does that say United? That's United Kingdom. In the United States, you can get them from HRO, which I believe is, I believe it's in Georgia. I could be wrong, but it doesn't. Anyway, so these are all the places you could get them, besides getting it directly from them. And I want to thank them for sending me these radios for me to demonstrate to you. So, little disclaimer there. Where are we at? So I think I'm about to rattle off. Yeah. Wrap this up. My point is, shortwave conditions have improved great from what they were just a couple of months ago. We finally got the signal to noise ratio, the solar flux index above 100, which is what we want. And now the noise floor is down, much lower than it's been. So whatever radio you use, whether you use, like a Wernick 750 or whatever, need to dust it off, plug it in, hook up your antenna, and start listening. Wintertime is a great time to listen. At least that's been my experience. And plus, you're indoors right now, at least in the United States and probably all over the world, maybe not in Asia. It's cold. It's cold, and you don't want to be outside, so you're stuck indoors. And start listening to your shortwave radio. Again, if the gentleman, very kind gentleman, who created the databases for me for this program, will do an update for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. And then what I'll do is put that on my computer down in my workshop with my best receiver and my best antenna. And we'll see what kind of stations we can receive. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. And have a great holiday. Bye-bye.